I mean, we're talking at least a couple dozen little parts here.
DorkLair!
Welcome to another DorkLair collecting video. Today I'm taking a look at the AXYTOYS Dinosaur Battlefield Dino Warrior. This video is sponsored by 5K Toys, who were kind enough to send out this early sample, so please support them. They are an awesome store. I've been ordering from them ever since the first Combatants Fight for Glory wave. I've also picked up some of those wolves from them and numerous other things. So they're a great store, a great shop. They have some very unique selections. So check out 5K Toys. I put a link in the description below. Also check out their Instagram. If you're seeing this video like on the first couple days, they might still have a giveaway going for one of these early samples. Now this figure is up for pre-order. It's not going to release until I think late this year or early next year. But if you want to get your hands on an early sample, you could enter their giveaway. Anyway, big shout out to 5K Toys and let's get into this review. First up, here's a look at the package, which is incredibly difficult to light and photograph because it has one of these, shifting, I used to call them holograms when I was a kid, but these types of things you would see on like trading cards and stuff. And what that does is it showcases off the two colors. There's a green and an orange version of the figure. And so that's kind of neat that they're going with that like old retro feel. For like a dinosaur warrior type action figure, this feels very 80s all around, like a current version of an 80s type of figure. And you can see the logo Dinosaur Battlefield up at the top there. Here's a look at the side of the box. Some information about the safety of the product there. It does have a window, so you can open up the window here. It's got a nice little, Jurassic prehistoric background on that side. And then you got some character bio type stuff on the inside of the flap. Getting up close for a look at the details. Lots of very intricately sculpted details and paintwork as well. This being a $75 figure, you should expect a high quality finish on it. And this headpiece is all one piece. It's articulated at the base of the neck, which we'll talk about with articulation. And it does have a jaw that opens and closes. And there's all sorts of accessories, and there's a lot. I'm talking dozens of little tiny pieces that you can, pop on and move around and plug in different places. There's the shoulder strap here. There's a knife that goes in the shoulder strap. And we'll go over all the accessories in a little bit. And then we have the belt here with a little bit of fur underneath. So the belt is separate from the fur. I'll pull the whole thing apart so you can see all the different pieces. The only piece I was unable to get off are the greaves down here. I was unable to remove the feet, and I felt like I was pushing it. I didn't want to break the feet, so I left those there. But everything else you can remove, and he'll be just like a totally bare lizard. Turning him to the back, you can see that he's got a tail, and the tail has a bendy wire inside, a very stiff bendy wire, so it will hold a pose pretty well. And if you want, you could use the tail to like come down and balance him a little bit. The tail pegs in here. It's kind of a weird situation. This peg that kind of articulates the tail a little bit, but if you don't put the tail on, you're just going to see that peg. So generally speaking, you're going to want to keep the tail on this guy. But overall, a lot of very sharp details, a lot of intricate paint work and layers and things. So I think it's got that premium feel to it in terms of paint. For height, he stands just over 7.5 inches to give you a sense of how tall he is, this new line. And then here he is next to a Mythic Legions 1.0 Kit Bash figure on the right. That's basically 3 different deluxe Legion builders. And then on the left is the Storm Collectibles Golden Axe Battler, which is right about the same height. On the left here we have Mezco Conan the Barbarian with some Kylab parts. And on the right we have the Mythic Legions Ogre Scale Bolthor the Tower that's actually got a Max Bird cape on there that was originally supposed to be for the Ares Storm Collectibles figure. Finally on the left we have a Masterverse Beastman Deluxe figure. And on the right we have a Kit Bashed Mythic Legions Dwarf with a Kylab cloth set. For accessories it comes with a whole bunch of little bits and pieces. I mean, we're talking at least a couple dozen little parts here. And there's a lot of these little guys that have this peg that is kind of universal throughout the figure where you can just keep pegging things into other parts and like adding pieces and stuff and really customizing it however you want it to be. You can take the gauntlet and you can add this piece here, and then you can add like, this wrist guard there, and then you could slide that up onto the arm and kind of like build out the armor of your character. some little like dangling hanging parts that you can hang from the belt. And then here you have a necklace. Of course, you have the tail. Here's a look at the cloth piece that goes around his waist. You can see it's pretty nicely stitched. And then you put this over the cloth, and then you can hang these pieces on the side here. And it's got this ornament for the front. Probably an infinite number of combinations of things that you can mess around with. And then here's a look at the spiked hammer he comes with. Lots of different paint details and some intricate sculpt work going on here. And finally, the greaves. The one part I couldn't get off because I couldn't get the feet off super easy, and I wanted to get the review up, and I don't want to like potentially break the figure before doing the review, so I haven't removed those yet. Okay, so for articulation, I'm going to leave him naked, basically, so that you can kind of see all the different parts, and I'll pop them apart here and there. For example, the neck. The base of the neck has a double ball joint, so you can bring the neck down a little bit and then back up. Unfortunately, there's not really much you can do. I mean, you can turn the head this way, but you can't, nod too much. The jaw is articulated. The arms can hinge up past the T-pose, and there is a twist at the shoulder, but the shape of the shoulder here makes it a little tricky to twist it all the way around, and there's a bit of rub when you go this way, so you're going to want to be a little bit careful, but you can get the arm all the way up. It's just a little tight there because of the shape of the shoulder. He's got a full bicep swivel, single jointed elbow that comes just about to 90 degrees. There's also a twist above that elbow. The wrist is on a split ball, so you can spin it however you'd like. And the joints feel nice and smooth. In fact, they maybe feel a little bit loose, like in this part down here in the hips. Upper torso is on a ball joint. Lower torso is on a ball joint. So lots of crunch forward and back, and just a lot of good movement all the way around. My hips do feel a little bit loose, like that's a very easy point of articulation there, but you can see it's a ball joint, so if you wanted to tighten that up, that would be not much difficulty at all. And there's a twist at the top of the thigh. Single jointed knee comes right up to about 90 degrees. There's a twist above the knee, and then there's a hinge at the foot and an angled peg for wider stances. Pretty ample articulation. The limitation is in the head. I do find the ankles a little tricky because once you angle them, you have to turn them. So you have to do like a turn and angle if you want to get the wider stances. But other than that, it's quite good articulation. Oh, and one last thing I wanted to point out is that the peg for Mythic Legions actually fits this guy. So you can use a Mythic Legions shoulder pauldron. It's going to look a little bit small, obviously, because this guy's so big. And then fitting the Mythic Legions one, it's just a little bit small, but you could totally put that on a Mythic Legions figure too. And last thing I'll do is I'll just show you putting the skirt back on so you can see what it looks like to pop the torso apart. But there's the inside. It's got one of those, double ball pegs there. And the top removes easier than the bottom. And then you just take this skirt piece here, and that kind of stretches around the waist. And then you take this skirt piece here, and that goes over the top there. And then you can pop him right back on. And, this doesn't really limit articulation too much. He still has quite a bit of crunch back and forth, but that's getting the skirt back on for the sake of decency. Anyway, I hope you like my review. If you're interested in this figure, check out 5K Toys. I left a link in the description below. And until next time, may the force be with you.